J&J Video Reacts.
Good afternoon, gang. How is everybody? Hopefully everybody is doing good. Did you have a good weekend? That's all I want to know. Did you have a good weekend? Well, if you did have a good weekend, I'm glad. That makes me happy. Makes me happy to know the J Crew is happy. And if you didn't have a good weekend, well, damn it, let's have a good week. Okay, because a new weekend's coming. So I wanted to talk about inner peace today, which is something that, after suffering with PTSD for damn near 10 years, it's something that I value more than money, more than life itself, because life can give you a bunch of shit. And I have learned that, when you can create a happy place within yourself and go there when you need to, it's worth more than gold. Because think about it, you need to have a peace of mind, you need to have your sanity in order to be able to accomplish things. And, raise your hand if you're more able to produce and create and, when you're on a higher frequency or when you feel good, right? Because when you don't, and you're depressed or you're not feeling motivated, things don't get done. And when you're motivated, you have to find a place to go within yourself. This is not something that you can get from reading a book, from listening to me, from doing it's some place that has to come from within automatically. Now you can use those things to create that place, but it doesn't necessarily come from that place. When you need to get into your space, it needs to be something that's already built inside you. Because what happens if you're in a place where you don't have access to any of that? You can't turn on a TV or click your phone and watch a video or listen to a song. And you are in a situation where you are stressed and you need to be able to think clearly. How do you create that inner peace and that space that's within you that nobody can touch or get to, that only you can get to, so that you can move forward in life? Because you're going to move forward anyway. But if you don't have the ability to create inner peace and a safe space for yourself, then that's one of the most valuable things you can learn. It's helped me tremendously. Because I can get triggered, and getting triggered is not some place that you want to be, where you can get easily triggered, because it diminishes your health and it's just not a good space, First off, before we do anything, I want to ask everybody to, if you're in here, smash the like button. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, because this is something that I'm doing every day, regardless of how many subscribers that I do have, regardless of how many people show up to it or not. This is something I've committed to do because it helps me as well to air these things out and to talk these things through. The J Crew is sitting at 579 subscribers strong. Thank you guys for being there. Thank you for being a part of the J Crew. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. It's free. Go ahead and smash it. It does not cost you a dime, but it does help the channel grow. Smashing the like button helps the algorithm. Okay? It puts us in an algorithm where more people will get this content. So do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and do people who need this type of content a favor, and smash that like button and subscribe. And above all, share this video. If you like the messages I'm putting out, you like the vibe I'm putting out, share the video. If you know somebody that's kind of going through something and you think that these types of streams will help them, share it with them. Tell them, hey, listen, this is a place you can go to on YouTube at 12 o'clock if you just want to air your I don't want to say dirty laundry, but someplace you can go and talk and just relate. And it's a sister over there that can pretty much relate to anything that you're going through. And that would be I. And sometimes my wife joins me on here, Veganowledge. She is so beautiful and she helps keep me sane. You know, I have to do it from within, but it's always good to know that I have her there to talk to when I want to air it out to just more than myself if something's bothering me. And she's going to come back with something positive always to say. So that's pretty cool. But you got to get it within yourself first. So thank you to all the 579 subscribers because you guys make me feel good about this channel. It could be 79 subscribers. It could be 1 subscriber, but it's 579. That means 579 people said, you know what? She's all right. I think I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that. Okay, so today's topic. Okay, so today's topic is find your inner peace. And only you can do this. Only you can do this. Okay. Here's what my peace looks like. What I've done is I've created a grotto that lives inside of me. And I call it my peaceful grotto. And whenever something is bothering me and I just need to get into a safe space where I just need to just think and clear my mind and clear my head and clear my body, I go somewhere and I just sit for about good 10, 15 minutes, somewhere quiet, somewhere quiet where you're not going to be bothered by distractions. And I just start in my mind to visualize this image. It was an image that I found on Google Images years ago. And I said, wow, that would be a nice vacation spot. That'd be a nice spot to just chill and get away from it all. And I started thinking, when I would listen to like Norman Vincent Peale and guys like that talk about power of positive thinking, when I wanted to just get away, I couldn't afford a plane ticket to go to a place like this. So I said, you know what? I have an imagination and that's free. Just like Willy Wonka, right? Pure imagination. Well, there's a lot of truth in that. And you have to be able to use your imagination so that you can go to a place like this inside yourself. This place right here, that's my inner peace. Me personally. That's exactly what it looks like. And I can go there and I can hear the waterfall. I can hear the droplets of water touching the top of the lake. And I can just feel the breeze on my face and I just start a breathwork session. In through the nose, out through the mouth. You know how we do. Nice deep breath. And I start visualizing this place. And before you know it, not only is my body and mind relaxed, but I am now in a state of peace, visualizing being here, visualizing that this is what's inside of me. Because there's too much crap flowing around you. There's all kinds of negativity, especially with the pandemic and the state of the world. You got places that are at war with each other. And you got people that are buzzing around you in your ear, trying to make things difficult for you. And you have to be able to just take a minute and go to yourself and visualize something like this, being on the inside, a place where they can't touch, where nothing can touch, and just be there in that moment. Shout out to Veganowledge. I see you in the chat, sweetie. And it helps when you can zone out and get yourself into a place where only you are, where nothing can touch you. And that's what you call creating a safe place within. And it's important to be able to do this for yourself, because I can tell you personally, like, okay, when we owned a business, all right, when we owned our restaurant delivery business, there were times where we were riding around, right? And DoorDash drivers, Uber drivers probably go through this now. There were times when we were riding around and, being in Ocean City, especially during the summertime, that was one of our busiest times. We had so many people that by the second, third year in knew that we were available and knew that we were here, that we would get maybe, I don't know, 5, 6 calls at once. And before we got steady drivers to help us out, it was just us, one car. And 5 people would call at one time and want us to go pick up food from a restaurant. They would place their order with us. We would then place the order with the restaurant, just like it works now with DoorDash, basically. You go online and you place it, and then they take care of placing it with the restaurant so that it's there when a driver can go there. We know how it works from the inside out because we ran that business for, 10, 12 years successfully in this area. And, when we retired from it, it was a bittersweet moment because we didn't do it voluntarily, unfortunately. But, hey, this is one of the reasons why I said you got to keep it moving. Shit happens. You have the big guys come in like a DoorDash or Uber Eats who has financing, who has the advertising to be able to basically go, do this nationwide. And we didn't have that, But did we let that stop us initially? No. We had the one car, and there were times where we were out there and we would place these orders and customers would call, well, where's my food? Now, forget the fact that they didn't want to go out in the traffic. They wanted us to do it. But where's my food? It's been 2 hours. Well, sir, you're in Ocean City, Maryland in the summertime. There's a ton of traffic out here. I know right now you're hangry and you don't want to hear that. But, well, I don't care what's going on. I want my food now or I'm not going to pay for it. And who would have to eat that? If a customer pulled that, we kept a cool head about ourselves because we wanted to be somebody that they would use again. And it didn't help to yell back at a customer. Customers are always right, that type of thing. It wouldn't have, in that moment, you think I didn't want to say, well, you come out here and get the shit. But no, because I had a place of inner peace that I could go to in those moments, it allowed me to basically clear my head. And the customer yelling became wah, 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 wah. And all of a sudden, I didn't hear the customer yelling at me. I heard, I'm just hungry. I just want my food, and I'm upset because it's taken a long time to get here. If you were hungry and it took a long time for you to be able to get your food, wouldn't you feel this way? Because I was able to go to a place of inner peace, I could empathize with the customer in that moment. That's a very difficult thing to do, especially when somebody's screaming in your ear and you're in a hot car in a ton of traffic. And you're making your living doing this. But if I wanted that customer to use me again, despite the fact that they didn't get their food, then I had to be able to calm myself down, taking a breath, and, sir, I understand what you're saying. Okay. And if it were me, I'd be pissed too. what I can do is I can take $5 off this order in hopes that you'll use my service again. And I got to let you know there's a lot of traffic out here, but I'm doing the best that I can to get this to you. Well, me being able to do that meant the world to the customer, because I was able to take this customer who was frustrated and frustrated, and I guess he had his happy place. I was able to put him in his happy place by me being able to do that for myself. It immediately would diffuse people like that. And they would say, you know something, I'm just hungry. The thing that I pictured them saying, I manifested. Because I had to think about, what do I really want? Remember that lesson? What do I really want in this situation? Do I want to lose a customer? Do I want to lose the opportunity to make money in the future with this person? What do I really want? Well, in that moment, I had to go to a place of inner peace in order for me to think that way, in order for me to get to that point. And because I did that, I was able to put the customer at ease, bring him to this peaceful place that I was in, and get it done. And not only, and I'm thinking of a specific instance. That's why I was able to do that. There were several instances like that over the years. But when we got to his door, not only that, he tipped us like $50 just because we were so professional and were able to calm him down. And another thing that we would do things like we would go get new food for people, if it wasn't absolutely fresh because we got stuck in traffic, or give them some type of free delivery for the next time and a coupon to a restaurant. But you got to be able to have a safe place that customer couldn't get to my grotto. The traffic couldn't get to my grotto. Only I could get to my grotto. Only I could bring myself to a place where I was calm, when everything was, like how an atom is, and it's got the circles going where you need to be able to get in that space and center yourself. And one of the things that helped me was finding that picture and starting to visualize being in that place. And I imagined that it was what was inside my body. Instead of lungs and a heart and a liver, I had that grotto. I still do to this day. That's how I picture my inside of my body. So whenever I need to get away, that's where I go. And it's important to do that. One of the reasons why is because when you continuously let situations get to you and get flustered, and you don't have inner peace or a safe space that you've created that you can go to, you're going to diminish your health. And having that safe space, having that inner peace, gives you a sense of greater health. It helps you to heal when you can do that. If you're sick, if you've got a cold, if you've got a stomach ache, if you got a headache, if you have cancer, if you have diabetes, if you have MS, having a place that you can go to within yourself to not constantly deal with the situation at hand. Because remember, you are you inside. You are not your situation. Even if you have a disease, on the inside, your aura, that disease can only touch your body. It can't touch your mind. That disease can only touch organs. It cannot touch the frequency that is within you. When a doctor tells you you have a terminal disease, the last thing that you need is that disease eating up the safe space that you've created. Because guess what? You need that safe space to be able to heal. Because if you're able to get in that safe space, you can heal your body. There are documented There are documented, okay? This is just some mumbo jumbo, hocus pocus. There are documented instances where people have literally thought themselves back to good health. Now, did they just sit there and think for, I want to be well, okay, and then within a few minutes? No, it's obviously something that takes time, okay? But because they believe so strongly in the power of their minds to be able to heal themselves, and the power of the human body being able to heal itself, and they stuck in that, and they grounded themselves in it, they were able to take their bodies from a state of terminal illness into a state of health, just because they had that inner peace and that safe space that they could go to mentally. Because remember, the disease can't touch your mind. Only you have access to that. When someone's yelling at you, they can't get in here unless you let them rent space in your head. Only you can allow that. Only you can allow something to get to you. And only you can take yourself from that. I learned how to do it because I had cancer before, and I suffered with PTSD, and every other day was, is it going to come back? Is this something that I'm going to have to deal with the rest of my life? Am I even going to see 50 years old, 40 at that time, 35, because I was 34 when it happened, And it's so crazy because the odd thing is, at the time that I was diagnosed, or at the time after they had already taken it out, because they didn't know what was going on, and went in and found out that's what it was. And the doctor, yeah, you were right. I told him what I thought it was because I saw my aunt die from it. And he said, you were right. How'd you know that? And I'm like, immediately, instead of being afraid, oh my God, am I going to die? I remember asking him, okay, so am I going to die? What's happening? What's the next step? How much time? He said, no. We got it. We got it all. It didn't spread. I want you to do a couple months of chemo, though. Not the really strong kind that takes your hair out and stuff like that, but the kind that fits, what you had, And for like 6 months, which I ended up, the job that I had shut down, I no longer had insurance, so I only got 3 months. I never got the full dose of chemotherapy I was supposed to get. I only got 3 months, and I'm 20 years clean because of this. And because of this, I can personally say that's why. I know. Because if that weren't the case, I would not be here right now. Because I have one of those minds that loves going to the negative. Everybody does. Our minds automatically go to the negative. It's a defense mechanism. Your mind wants you to be prepared for danger. So it thinks of dangerous shit. And you have to learn how to say, hey, look, thanks for sharing, but that's not who I am and where I am in this moment. That's just something that you're visualizing that you think might happen. I need you to stop doing that. Because if you do that long enough, we're going to make that happen, and we don't want that. So we need to focus on what we want, and that's to be well. A lot of people think I'm crazy because guess what? I have not been to a hospital, nor a checkup, nor a follow-up since I left that day and just went to them few sessions. I haven't gone to get checked for cancer because I'm of the mind that if I have it, I'm just going to live with the shit. And eventually it'll dissipate. It'll go away. The blindness, I don't know that that's not some type of retinal thing, cancer or whatever. But if it is, guess what? I've had it 12 years. It hasn't taken me out. Cancer fears me, dude. That's a real thing. I've seen that on hats and things. I live with it. Olivia Newton-John, I heard her say that once. And I don't know if I guess the doctors got to her. She was just tired of fighting after a while. You know, once your body gets older and older and older, it doesn't have the strength that it once had, you know. But it eventually she succumbed to it. And I was sorry to hear that. But I remember hearing her say one time, you know, you can live with cancer. And I'm like, you know, she's right. Because if it has come back or reoccurred, doesn't scare me. Because I have inner peace now. And peace is a lot more powerful than fear when you use it, when you strengthen it. Because fear is pretty freaking strong. But when you can get to a place of inner peace, and hopefully I'm saving some lives here for people that are listening, that, or if you're not listening, if you catch it on a replay game, or if you know somebody, share this with them, please. If you can get it in your mind. I remember telling you guys that my dad died of AIDS. They gave him a weekend to live. My mom called me at work, said, yeah, your dad got AIDS. They don't expect him to make it through the weekend. And all I could think, and I hadn't seen my dad in 17 years, all I could think was I need to get to him. I want to be able to say goodbye to him and look him in his face and tell him that I love him. No hard feelings. You know? And I got there and I said those words. And 6 months later, when he did die, we had a beautiful relationship. You caught that, right? No, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. My grandmother died 6 months after that. 3 months later. It wasn't 6 months, but 3 months. They didn't expect him to make 3 days. And he lived an additional 3 months once I walked back into his life. And we were able to have conversations. And we were able to, and I had the cancer by now. Okay. So I made it through that. He and I were able to talk about that. You know, I was able to let my dad hear me play drums. I had at that time, I had a tape recording of a band that I was in. And he said, well, Dawn, that sounds professional. I said, yeah, Dad. You know, you played keyboards. I'm a drummer. You saw me play. You were one of the first people to see me play when I was 7 years old, out of nowhere. You didn't think that was going to grow up and I was still going to be able to do that? And he was like that? I'm like, yeah, that's what it turned into. But he would have never known had I not made that trip. You know, because I was in a place where I believed in focusing on inner peace. I did not want to have any animosity towards my dad. And I didn't want him to have any animosity towards me. You know? So I made that trip and we made it right. And because he was able to come to a place of inner peace, I remember asking him, are you afraid? Of course he would be. But I remember just looking him in his eye and asking, are you scared? Because I'm like, I'm talking to somebody, and who better to talk to about that than my dad? Because I faced death as well. And I'm like, are you scared right now? He's like, he just looked at me and he's like, yeah. And I'll never forget that look on his face. He's like, yeah, I am. And I was like, yeah, I know that feeling. And we were able to just bond and relate. I remember taking him a joint. And I had my own joint. Okay. No, we ain't sharing no joint. She got AIDS, mama. But I said, let's get high. I would love to just go to that place with you, because we've never done that. And the last time he saw me, I was a kid, you know. I didn't mess around, you know. Because some kids do. You got some 10, 12 years old that'll smoke you under the table. And that was like one of the best smokes I ever had in my life. I had it with my dad, dude. You know, somebody who I cherished, who I had no relationship with. And it's so funny too, because I remember going on I See Green and telling him a few weeks ago that my daughter and I are estranged. Isn't it funny how history repeats itself? you know, and I don't know why, I have ideas why, but, until we literally talk and are able to share feelings and thoughts with each other, we're both in the dark about it, I think she knows why she's angry, but honestly, I don't, she doesn't really understand what's going on this end, you know. So the only thing she can project is anger. And all of this stuff that I tell you guys that I talk about, I would love to share with her and teach her how to be a lot more like this. And for all I know, she could already innately be like that. Because apparently, my aunt has told me that my dad was a very deep, very spiritual person. And I find myself to be that way. So that I get that from him, I realize. And my mom, you know, I found stuff my mom wrote after she died that who knew she was a writer, because we weren't close like that, which is probably one of the reasons that, you know what I mean? So, and if my daughter ever ends up hearing this stream, you know, if you don't have good examples of that, sometimes it's hard for you to emulate. But I also have my grandma, God rest her soul, and she taught me how to love. So I want to give that, and luckily I have Jen in my life. I know I veered off, but this is about inner peace. And there are so many things that can take your peace, but that's all the more reason to have it. I wish Buddha was here right now. All right, so let's click on that. Let's report it. All right, cool. Oh, okay, I just did too. Thank you. Um, but yeah, so it helped to have these places that I could go to on the inside, because it made me a better person for my dad to be able to talk to him and relate to him. So I say to you, find your inner peace. Find what makes you the happiest. Because there's something in your life that gives you peace. You got to find that. That's important, you know? Not to mention the fact that each one teach one. The more we do this within ourselves, the better off this world will be, because it starts with us individually. That's just like when you're in a relationship. If you're not a whole person within yourself, what are you going to bring to the table in that relationship? How are you going to help your partner grow? How are you guys going to get through things together? You got to be a whole person if that person wasn't in your life. Sometimes people in relationships, they're not whole people themselves, and they expect their partner to make them whole. That's not how it works. You got to already be whole, and then you got to bring that whole to the other whole, and the two of you make one that is even bigger and better. But you have to have two complete individuals for that to flourish, but start now. Don't wait. Don't put it off. This is something that is detrimental, because as you do this, you'll find that it'll get easier and easier and easier. And you're able to go to that place at will, no matter what's going on around you. And you'll be a lot happier for it. You'll be a much happier person for it, you know? And, it's so funny because Jen told me there's, somebody that she works with that has cancer. And it's like, I believe that person came in the chat the other day. And, if you're listening, or if you're able to listen to this on the replay game, whatever you do, when you go to the hospital, I need you to do me a favor. Don't let them in. They're going to tell you things. They're going to tell you that you need this, that, and the third. They're going to tell you, if you're in a situation where it's terminal, don't buy in. Okay, remember what I said earlier. There are places that only you can get to. The disease can't get to it. If you let the fear of where you're at right now scare you enough, the fear is what's going to kill you, not the disease, not the cancer. The fear of it is going to make your body's immune system weak. Fear is vibes, feelings. Okay? When you let that permeate through your being, it degrades your body and it makes your body weak. When your mind is weak, your body will follow. Trust and believe that. But the reverse is also true. If you strengthen your mind and know that the body really was meant to heal itself, think of it as a mistake. This is not supposed to be happening. I don't care if you have to bullshit yourself. And initially it feels like bullshit. Eventually you will buy in and it will cure you. It will help you cure yourself. There are people who have cured themselves just by thinking it's so. Why can't that be you? Why can't it be you? If it's possible and someone's already done it and I do it on a daily basis, I stay well, why can't you do it? You're a human being just like we are. If we can do it, your body was made the same way. Everybody has this capability. Everybody. Now, whether you know it or not and know how to use it, that's a whole nother thing. But that's why I'm here to teach you. But don't let them in here. Regardless of what they're telling you. Well, you only have a certain amount of time, or you need this, or you need that. Well, yeah, I know that. No, don't buy in. Trust and believe. You can make it through this. Hey, Jen.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. This is such a powerful stream. How much I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying your input and your things that you're teaching based on what you've been through in life. And I know you've certainly helped me for bringing this to everybody.
Thank you, sweetie. You broke up quite a bit there, but I think I get the gist of what you were saying. Thank you for always supporting me and always coming in my chat and always, hey, listen, my wife struggles with, issues like I do at times. And if I help you, you and I have conversations on a daily in person, you know, but the fact that you like come in my streams, there are so many people who are in marriages, Jen, that are not supported by their partner. And thank you. You know, thank you for always pushing me to do streams like this. Like, you've been through a lot of shit. Talk to people. Let them know. You know?
Yeah, I don't want to like hoard it all.
Ah, you're so crazy. It's all for you, baby.
Did that sound get any?
You said that sound get any, and then it cut out. So
I guess that answers my question. Then no.
Well, I mean, it's not happening.
Trying to move to different.
Okay, it's not as bad as I've heard it before.
I want it to be perfect. What is wrong with this thing?
It's all
and
good.
A little bit of computer if it doesn't work, but I'll let you get back to it and I'll chime in.
I'm about to end it. I've pretty much said all I needed to say today. My soul is full, my heart is full, and hopefully, if people are listening, or if there's anybody who needed to hear this, the universe will make sure that it gets to them. I truly believe that.
Definitely, and I know we've got some people, and it's definitely appreciated. And you can, if you have time, because you never know, somebody else may need to hear it too.
Yeah,
it's so important.
Huh?
I was just saying, if they hear this, to have them like, and somebody else may need to hear it too.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. And I'm here for you if you ever want to talk, you know, because they will get in. And you think because they're doctors and things like that, that they know what they're talking about. They don't always know. They don't always know. The doctor told me I didn't have colon. Oh, you're too young. Blah, 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 blah. And then, oh, yeah, you were right. I was right. I'm not the doctor. You are. So if that works both ways. Okay, well, guess what? I'm going to also take care of me now. You know, thanks for the couple shots of chemo. I was supposed to get 6 months. I got 3 months. I've been doing it all on my own since. Okay.
It
is possible.
Something to say on that, and let me know if it's still bad.
Go ahead.
I was not only, like, doctors are so important. They definitely in part to play in healing us once we get ourselves to a certain point.
Yeah, because I can't operate on myself, so that needed to happen.
The main reason that is there are information that doctors don't know or are not trained to tell you. There was a time when doctors were advertising Camel cigarettes. Okay, so we live in a time right now, period, where we're finding that the way we eat, the way we think, healing, and how we prevent disease. So if we go into a state where we're believing what, and you're not listening to people who have healed themselves and have been through it, it's a place where we're listening to the wrong people if you don't do your own research. You know, because on Mondays we talk about how foods can heal, how important our diet is, and the medical profession is a business, so sometimes they can't give us all the information.
Right, absolutely. And Jen's gonna do Meatless Monday tonight on her channel, and we're gonna all be there. So make sure you go to that. And I have the link to her channel in the description of this video already. But
more importantly, not letting them in your head. Like,
yeah,
I've seen you do this with things. It's amazing.
Yeah, Ashley, I can tell you now firsthand that when some of the things that happened in my life, like and at the time I wasn't like into this, because it took a while for the PTSD, because guess what? It's not over. It Because then once you come out of it, PTSD will come after you, and not right away. One day you'll be up and you'll realize, wow, where's this fear coming from? And you'll realize what's happening, especially if you survive, or when you survive, let's put it that way. If thoughts come at you, there are things that you can do, like what I've been talking about, like the subliminal healing, the changing your thoughts while you're sleeping, all of those things, because your mind can be, your worst enemy, especially if you've had cancer. Okay. And you've gotten through it, because then you're like, woo, dodge that bullet initially. But then it's like, whoa, I almost died. Well, if it happened once, it can happen again, right? And before you know it, it runs away with you. You got to learn how to say, hey, listen, number one, we're all going to go at some point. Okay. So let's get rid of the fear of that. We're all going to go at some, we all have to it's a rite of passage. There is the ether. You become a part of the ether. You go to the other side. You transform. You no longer are a human. You are part of the ether, right? So yeah, I get with the crazy talk, but you're not there now. Right now you're here. You're a human being. So how do we survive in this body, in this state? And you have to use that ether, which is on the inside of you right now, to get through that. And that's something that the cancer can't touch. That's what makes you happy. It's what makes you sad. It's your feelings. It's your aura. And when you constantly hear TV commercials talking about all these different side effects from different medicines, when you hear this person died from cancer, that person died from cancer, it tends to mess with your head. Okay. Michael Douglas. I remember seeing him on, it was Jay Leno or something, and he had like throat cancer. He said, well, I have cancer. And he said it real matter of factly. And I remember it was Jimmy Kimmel or Jay Leno, one of them. Well, are you stage 4? Like, where are you? Like, what stage? He said, I'm stage 4. And they said, is that bad? He said, well, it's not where you want to be. Let's put it that way. But Michael Douglas is still here, isn't he? Stage 4 is terminal. But because Michael Douglas dismissed it and was dismissive of it and was like, hey, I'm going to do me. I don't plan on going anywhere. So let's do what we need to do. Get me fixed up. And I got some movies that I still need to make. And he's still here making movies because he made it up in his mind that was what was going to happen, that the cancer wasn't going to beat him. You understand? Your mind is more powerful than the cancer. And a lot of people don't realize that or don't believe it. I am living proof. I had it. It's gone. It has not been back. It won't come back because I won't allow it to. You see what I'm saying? Because I have no fear of it. When you let those feelings overwhelm you, let your faith be bigger than your fear. That's a saying. And it's a true statement. I live it. Let your faith and what you were built with on the inside be stronger than your fear. And it'll get you through this. And you will survive. And when PTSD tries to come for you, say, hey, I've already prepared for this. I already knew you were coming. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and get into this book. Or I'm going to go ahead and turn on this movie that always makes me laugh. Use your tools. If you watch The Secret, there's a section in there of a woman who was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she said what she did for her part of healing, aside from whatever the doctors were trying to put in her head, she and her husband would go home and just watch funny movies all day. And she would just stay in a state of joy and constantly thank the universe for healing that hadn't happened yet. Thank you for my healing. Thank you for my healing, universe. Every day I thank the universe. Thank you for keeping me well. And that's what I'm focused on. Thank you for keeping me well, universe. Let me try to bring her back in. Now that I'm on the other side of it. Thank you for keeping me well. Focus on what you want. See yourself in a healthy body. See yourself living your life without having to go to treatment. See yourself how you were before this happened. And believe within you, I'm going to get back there. That's what I really want. So I'm going to get back there because why? Because Dawn said I could, and she did it. Michael Douglas had this shit. He got through it. Well, they're no better than me. They're human beings just like I am. So if they can do it, I can do it.
It is like such a powerful thing because two things really resonated there. First of all, the humor part, because I think that's sometimes we get into a zone where we take things so seriously. We have to just give our and do what we enjoy, and that can help heal.
I feel like I can feel your spirit right now. And it's like it's making me get ready to bawl, dude. Oh man,
right?
I feel like I can feel her right now,
Yeah.
feeling happy to hear this, and feeling strong. You feel strong because you're going to get through it.
I agree with you. Now you're going to make me cry too. Let's just all cry. Midday cry down. Yes. Yes, you are. You're a strong lady.
We have a family friend that went through breast cancer a couple years ago. Debbie Jen, remember? That chick is tough as nails, man. She goes through a brain aneurysm, and then the next year she's diagnosed with cancer, and she is still here. Why? Because she's like, okay, let's get this over with. She has that mind. I told Debbie, we're going to be, this was before we became vegans, we're going to be eating crabs on our porch next year. I'll be damned if we didn't do that. And not only was she thinking that way, but those of us around her were manifesting that for her as well. I know the power of manifestation. So all I could think about was Debbie eating crabs. I was not going to help Debbie by focusing on Debbie dying, Debbie being sick. I could help Debbie and put as much ether in the air by picturing her being with us eating crabs and really wanting that for her and telling her, expressing that to her, putting the picture in her mind. We're going to be sitting there eating crabs. And I'll be damned if we weren't.
There's so many thoughts, and this is one of the things I've learned over time, that there's so many thoughts that pop in, thoughts that are coming in, that this is what I don't want to happen. This is what I don't want to happen. Think about how much stuff you think that you don't want to have. You think about you want to happen. And we wonder, you know what I mean, why we're in the world. You have taught me
that we're in
to think about, and the secret, think of, obviously those thoughts are going to come in, feel it, deal with it, resonate with it.
Don't suppress it. Don't suppress it because it's going to come back. Don't suppress it. You got,
that's like one of the things,
you got to dig it out.
I was doing that wrong. I was immediately trying to get it out of my head and think of something that the thing
think positive.
That
don't
calls
work.
To me, with like my little
think positive thoughts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works for the moment, but the root cause is not dealt with. The root fear is not dealt with. Say, okay, I have cancer. This sucks, and I'm scared shitless. All I keep thinking about is I'm gonna die, and all these Sit with that for a minute. Let it eat you up for a split second, and then say, okay, now that that's happened, I'm gonna go with what I know is real. And if I think that I want to be better, and I know that the human body heals itself, all I have to do is internalize that and believe it, and know that, one day is going to be my time. But guess what? I don't know that I'm ready for it to be now. So if that's how I feel and think, then that's going to be what's so. So since I'm not ready to go right now, I'm not going anywhere right now.
Couple that with doing something also to help your body heal with a plant-based diet. diet plug because
Stop plugging your show. I'm getting deep right now.
I'm not plugging my show. I'm just telling
We ain't
you the
talking about
truth.
that right now.
I'm
We
telling
talking
you.
about something else. We talking about something else.
No,
We talking about the mental
no.
thing. We
But
know we
it
gotta
will
eat. We
help
know we
your
gotta eat the
mind.
right thing. We know we gotta eat
Yeah,
the
but
right
I know,
thing.
but if you put it in your mind that you're doing things to help yourself heal, that's all I'm saying.
True. Very true. But even more powerful than the food, okay? And I totally get she's absolutely right, okay? Because you have to do things for your physical, okay? Because if you can think all the right stuff that you want, but if you don't do what you need to, if you don't equip your body to fight, if you don't equip your immune system to fight, then all the positive thinking in the world is not gonna, you gotta do both. Okay. And vice versa. The other is true as well. You can eat right and do all the right things, work out. But if you don't think right and if you don't believe these things that I'm telling you, all of that's going to go away at some point. No matter how much you worked out, how right you ate, that's going to go away. So it's got to be both. You know, Jen's right. You got to do both. You got to feed your body the right things. And if you go to a plant-based diet and if you do some fat, another thing about fasting, because I'm fasting right now. I fast from 12 midnight to 9 p.m. I call my lifestyle fast and raw because then I eat raw vegetables at night. But all throughout the day, I fast. It is proven that fasting can also help aid in curing cancer because your body, when you're in a fasted state, it basically goes through and cleans up areas that are wrong. And the human body will consume tumors if it's in a fasted state. It has to be in a truly fasted state for a long period of time, though. And I'm not a healthcare professional, so consult whoever you need to consult to. I'm just talking about what works for me.
We got life experience.
Yeah. And I know, scientifically and medically, it's been proven that fasting the body consumes excess fat. And with that fat, it can consume tumors. It has been done.
But, like feeding your mind the right stuff is important because I know I talked about this on your last stream. You've been helping me. I feel in the best shape, but my mind wasn't where it needed to be. Yeah. With worry, it made no difference what I was eating. Yeah, it can make you feel better. It can make you have energy, thoughts.
Right.
It didn't matter about changing my diet.
Yeah.
We do this sometimes.
I've watched
we'll
you
argue
go through that.
Points with each other and then agree with each other.
This is why our marriage is so beautiful because just like that little bickering we just did is the extent of how we fight. That's whenever we do that, that's how it is. And we also empathize. I'm like, well, wait a minute. She does have a good point, because this, that, and the third, you know what I mean? And that's how we work. Life is a compromise. Marriage is a compromise. And you got to give yourself grace. You got to have patience with yourself. Because if you have patience with yourself, you'll have patience with other things. But you're going to come through this, girl. You're going to come through it. And we're going to be talking about this on a live stream. And you're going to come up here when you're ready. I'm going to give you the link. You're going to come up on the panel and you're going to talk about this. And if you ever want to, let me know. We'll go ahead and you can come up here and you can talk about your experience and what you're going through. Think about that.
I'm going to picture that live stream. I'm going to be there.
Think about that. I'll put the link in the chat. And, whenever you want to come up here and voice your own opinion and your words and let us hear your voice, feel free to do so. Jen, anything you want to close out with?
Just thank you for streams, and hopefully by next week I'll have a better sound system. Thank you so much for having me, and everybody.
Thank you for coming on here, baby. And don't forget Meatless Monday, guys. Meatless Monday is tonight on Veganowledge's channel, and the link to that stream or the link to her channel is in the description. We do what time, Jen? 7:30, 8 o'clock. What was it?
8 o'clock Eastern time.
8 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be on there talking about, and she's gonna have Ro, who's always on my streams, we do the 90-day fiance content. Ro is someone who is beginning a plant-based journey, and she's about 3-4 weeks in, and hopefully she's still sticking to that. But she's mentioned to us that she has been feeling so good. And we said, you know what, Jen said, why don't you come on and talk about it? For people who are in the beginning stages of that. So she'll be on there tonight sharing her experience in the beginning part of her journey, how she's been doing and how it's making her feel.
I actually love about you, and you're so passionate. I can see the emotion in you.
I was about to start bawling a little while ago. I don't know why I felt like she was crying or about to, or I felt like, and I just, you know what I mean? I was just lost in emotion. But
we just
I love all my people, man. I want them to be all right.
Focus on like wanting people to be better and wanting people, since that we started these streams. It's like it's like to do it, or God or the universe. It's just something was that. And Dawn, I'm so proud.
I'll never forget one of the things that my teacher told me. Miss Holt said, "You may be the very one to save us all." Why she told me that, I have no idea. But all I know is I've gone through a lot of experiences, and I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe these were all training grounds. Maybe all of these things that happened were training grounds to be able to help other people. And now it's starting to come full circle what she meant by that. Because I hadn't been through half the shit.
Adversity.
Right. That I hadn't been through half the shit that I've been through when I was 18 when she said that. Yeah. So I hadn't been through half the shit that I've been through now in 54 years. So it's like, wow, I think I get where she's going with that. You know what I mean?
Even
so
if we can't change
help some people,
the world, we can help somebody.
We can help a few.
Streams will go on forever because
when I am no longer here, this stream will exist, and somebody may pull this up 40, 50 years from now. If I'm still here, that'd be fantastic. But if I'm not, hey, at least this stream exists. Look, I talk about Prince's stuff all the time. There's a channel that puts up.
I think you'll be here a long time. You never get older.
I have the
you
secret.
Look 14 years ago.
But I can watch. I've never gone to a live Prince concert, but because this channel puts them up every weekend, I can now sit there, have a snack, and watch a live Prince concert, like I'm sitting in the audience and watching it on the Jumbotron or something. So you know what I mean? It'll live forever. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
Anyway, Jen, thank you, baby. I'm gonna cut out with that.
Welcome. I think my lunch is about over. This is food for thought for me, though.
Food for thought. Ashley, I wish you well. You have a fantastic. We love you, baby. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And I will be on here at 12 o'clock mañana and hope to see you there.
I'm excited, Dawn. Love you.
Love you, baby.